you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I'm super excited to have my business partner and friend, Pat Nadeau from Kingston, Ontario on today. How you doing, Pat?
I'm fantastic, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah, you like that video? Oh, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, could you see me dancing in the background? I was just like, every single time we do this, I hear that intro and I'm like, let's go. I need it. You know what I need is like, because I have my own podcast here, I need like an intro song to it to play live. Right. I feel like that gets you fired up.
Yeah. Well, you got to work on that, man. You get your VA to get that started, because all this background stuff, my virtual assistant take care of. I'm not too techie, but
yeah.
But anyway, let's jump in, everyone. This is our 4-year review. Pat moved over to EXP, him, his dad, and his company 4 years ago last week, or a couple weeks ago. And I know it's been life-changing, and we're just looking forward to kind of hearing Pat's story, your background, and let's just kind of jump right in and share with people how you tripled your business the first 12 months once you moved over to EXP, and what you're doing now.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a very different conversation than I think I remember us doing this probably the first 12 months at the company. And the crazy thing is like, I don't know if you ever heard the Brad Paisley song, I Thought I Loved You Then. It's like, I thought I loved EXP then. Now I love it more than I ever have before. And I feel like I'm beating people over the head with this, like, it's changed my life. But like, it honestly has. Like, it's literally like, it's given me what I thought I was going to be able to pull out of this business in the first like 10 years and 4 years, and then some. So like, there's no way I could have done a lot of the things that have happened without it. But yeah, man, I mean, just quickly, my story was when we first found EXP, we had an independent brokerage. So my father owned, called Nadeau Realty. He had ran that brokerage for a number of years, very successfully. And we figured we had it, figured out. So we basically ran it like a team model, had anywhere between 15 to 20 agents at any given time. And, but there was a lot of holes in that model that we just thought were meant to be there. And there was no solving until we heard about EXP. And this gentleman, this very handsome gentleman named Andre LaFontaine, gives us a call and says, you need to look at this. And obviously, my father respects you a lot. So we did take a look at it. And just like, I think this is the other thing that I cannot believe is, I think if you're in any business, and I don't care what it is, you owe it to yourself and the growth of your company, if you want to do better every year, to look at what the competition is doing. And even just for the sake of like, can I steal some of this? One of my favorite quotes is good artists copy, great artists steal, or the best copycat wins. Right. And so I feel like we owed it to ourselves to look at the model. We looked at every other model that had been coming up, and I guess my dad looked at it for a few days before he showed it to me. I looked at it, and within 30 minutes, I said, you're screwed. Like, these guys are I just said, you can't compete as a broker owner. There's no way you could ever offer 1/5 of what this company is offering their agents. And they're going to swallow you whole, is what I said. I said, you can put your head in the sand. We could probably do well for another 5 to 10 years, but after that, you're toast. And my story.
And you guys, before you get into that, you guys are, a big deal. I mean, you're selling like 200. When I called your dad, I think the team was doing about 225 homes a year, best year ever, right? With your company. Everybody knows the Nadeau Real Estate Group in Kingston, Ontario, like the go-to guys. So it's not like you were hurting and looking for something. You guys were doing great. You had your best year ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Had our best year ever. Just opened a new office. I think the big joke was my dad had just paid for a $10,000 sign that said Nadeau Realty on it, which 2 months later we ended up deciding to take down for an EXP sign. And yeah, so, but my story was a bit different than that. I didn't really quite have that kind of level of success. That was our entire group. My first 3 years in the business went how I think most, agents first 3 years go, with an 80% failure rate in the first 2 years and 90% in the first five. I was struggling. And I mean, I was putting up 20 deals a year, but for me, I knew I could do more, and I had been exposed to, some agents that were doing more, and I felt like that should be me. So I felt extremely frustrated. I think the issue for me and the challenge was the only person I had to reach up to was my father. And I could only go off what he had done and how he had found success, which worked for him. But I think there's a different path to success for every other agent. So, yeah, when we
Times
came
have
to
changed.
EXP,
And times
yeah,
have changed a little bit since, your father first got into business and you got into business. You were doing what, about, I think your third year, were you what, 23 years then,
yeah, yeah.
right? Doing about 23 deals, which is good. That was better than my first 3 years of real estate. And after your first 12 months at EXP, it went to what, 60, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I think I felt like I had hit a ceiling for 3 years in a row. It was like 17 units, 20 units, 23 units, and it wasn't the type of explosive growth that I wanted. And then my big goal was I wanted to hit 40 units, and the only reason I wanted to do that, honestly, was because my dad did 35 in his first year. A little bit of a natural. He started later. I got my license when I was 21. There's all the excuses in the world I can make, but it came down to effort and knowing what I needed to do. But EXP basically gave me the blueprint, and it was like no lack of coaching or whatever. So my first 6 months at EXP, I did 40 units. So, and then ended up hitting 60 units that year. So tripled my business the first year, but doubled it in the first 6 months from the year before, which was like, that was like a rocket ship when we came here. It was just absolutely insane. So
And
it's been a ride.
what do you contribute that to be able to triple your business in the first 12 months? I mean,
Uh,
you guys had a great company and great systems in place originally. What do you contribute that to?
I think that it's a little bit cliche of an answer, but it's alignment. It comes back to that, you are the result of the people that you align yourself with. And there's a lot of things at EXP that definitely helped me. And that list we could get into, which is absolutely insane, the 60 hours a week of training and all the rest of it. But the fact that I got to immediately be aligned with some of the top agents in the world who are financially incentivized because of the way EXP is set up to make sure that I was successful, that's what took everything to the next level. Having access to some of these top guys. I mean, you, for example, being, a top real estate coach your entire life, I would have had to pay thousands of dollars to be on the phone with you. And now I can call you at any minute because you're financially incentivized to ensure that I'm successful. And we do that. And I know how this thing works. So I don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call these guys. But alignment is definitely what changed it for me, for sure.
I remember you telling me that you went to your first Las Vegas EXP con and got in a room with John Kitchens and Jay Kinder and some of the other top agents that are in our group. And wasn't it something that kind of John shared with you? You didn't even know who he was, at the get together, but he was just giving you some advice, and you took action on that, and things just started going up from there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think if I had to take it down to one conversation so the alignment thing was like the fact that I even got in a room with John Kitchens in the first place, Jake Kinder. I mean, the list goes on of all these, absolute rock stars. But yeah, so the if I had to boil it down to one conversation that tripled my business, I was sitting at the pool bar and with Jay and Al, and they introduced this guy by his first and last name. And I thought, if they're saying John Kitchens, I'm supposed to know who this is. And I have no idea who he is. And by the way, I believe, if you can't tell by the suit and tie, I do believe that first appearances and like first impressions matter. And he was in his friggin' board shorts and a cutoff shirt. And I was like, okay, they're introducing me as this guy I should know. Who is this guy? And I just kind of said, hey, how's it going? Whatever. He grabbed a drink. And then he just kind of turned to me and said, what are you struggling with? And at that point, like I said, it was 20 deals. I was trying to get from 20 to 40. And we had a 5-minute conversation, and he just told me to focus on one or two very small things. And that's all I did when I got home, was just focus on those one or two things, and tripled my business from that. So
yeah, congratulations.
yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, I want to take a second. I just want to thank all our listeners that are on here today: Joey, Ben, John, Rebecca, Tracy. Any of you guys have any questions for Pat, please put it in the comment sections and we'll go ahead and ask them, and definitely share this out there with, give them some love and share this with your friends on Facebook. But yeah, so let's start talking about, year 2, 3, and 4. I mean, what happened in year 2, and let's kind of keep unpacking your journey here.
Yeah, so I think the first year that I came here, doing 60 units in a year, although we had a lot of support from the team, it's a lot. I think that, probably around that 40 deal, 50 deal mark is where most agents are going to start to get burnt out. And that's exactly what happened. Like even though we had the support of the team and we had all the leverage that EXP has, I was still running and gunning like crazy, working 12-hour days. And there was a few months of the year where I didn't even see my fiance. And speaking of that, I decided to get married the next year. So that second year at EXP was a little bit different. So I had a conversation with one of my mentors, and probably this guy is like literally the reason that I got into real estate. And some people don't believe that because my father's in real estate. But before I came and worked at my family brokerage, I started with the fastest growing RE/MAX in the world at that time, which was in Ottawa. And I worked with one of the biggest teams in Ottawa, and the team lead's name is Tarek Elatar, who is now went from a RE/MAX owner to EXP, but that's a different conversation. Probably my number one mentor, like all the way up, as far as I've come so far. And I was having a conversation with him in my first year, and I said, "Man, things are going awesome. I'm on pace to do 60 deals. Like, I can't believe this, blah blah blah." But how do I what do I do here? Because I'm like, I haven't seen my fiance at the time. I haven't seen her in 2 months. Like, I'm just gone. I'm just working. That's all I'm doing. And he said, "Well, you don't run a business." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, do you know how many deals I'm doing?" Like, I felt like, you get everybody gets, a little bit confident when you start to do business. And I was like, so offended by that. I'm like, "What do you mean I don't run a business?" And he's like, "You don't run a business until you have leverage. Right now, all you are is a highly compensated salesperson." And my mind just went, I was like, yeah, like I'm only going to be as successful as however many hours, like I'm trading time for money right now. And so that totally shifted my mindset of like, the next year trying to get married and hoping to stay married. I was like, I can't keep working like this. And like, I don't care who you are, like burnout definitely exists. And that's not something that I wanted to get to the point of. And I was already feeling that kind of like, I wasn't, my healthiest. I wasn't sleeping at night. Like, so the next year was like, how do I create leverage? So I think I did something that's really unique. I had somebody that I knew that was getting into the business who was a perfect fit for this role. We essentially created a role. So when I was in Ottawa, I was an inside sales agent, and I essentially combined an inside sales agent with like an office manager and made like a business manager. So Trevor Tompkins, who's been with me now 2 years, I brought him in. He was working on getting his license. So it was kind of like an apprentice kind of role. And it's worked out. It's been mutually beneficial. So I've been able to basically offload all my paperwork. And then also, because the other big challenge that you have in real estate is like you start doing really, really well, and you get to the point where you're doing, let's say 10 units in a month, because everybody knows we have good months and bad months. When you're doing 10 units a month, you're not creating more business. You're not working your pipeline. Your pipeline falls off. So you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. And I needed somebody to fill the pipeline behind the scenes because I just didn't have its speed to lead. I didn't have time to call the leads super fast like I used to. So Trevor was the next thing, and that's really, really changed my lifestyle and given me a bit more leverage now moving forward. So that was the big change in year 2 for sure, and 3 now really.
Yeah, that's awesome. So all the agents that are listening, definitely you can see for him to get to that next level was to start using leverage, and for you brought in that new role as an office manager, back end person. I did the same thing. Got a buyer agent and got an administrative person to start helping lift the load. Right? Yeah. Thanks, Ben. He says, "Great journey, Pat. Continue leading the way." Thanks for jumping on, Ben. So tell us what happened kind of next. I remember when you first got plugged in, you wanted to your goal was to double, triple your business, and you didn't want anything to do with really the agent attraction type of side of the business, which is fine. 88% of the company does not even look at agent attraction, and you didn't either, right?
No.
But I also understand because you did triple your business, you were attracting people organically to come start asking you questions. Isn't that some kind of the way that you had one of the number one Remax agents, one of your old mentors, kind of partner up with you?
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, if you're doing better than you did the year before, you're obviously excited about it. And I was like on cloud nine. I was finally doing what I wanted to do in this business. I was getting out, what I had always wanted from the business. I was finally doing, and I felt like I honestly felt like really, really down, especially in the slower months before we came to EXP, because I was like, I know I can do better. I know I can do better. And once I started doing better, I was excited. So naturally, when you're excited and when you're, more successful or you're doing better for yourself, you're going to share what is helping you do that. So, and also like just organically from, people seeing me on social media, which I was committed to because I was wanting to take my business to the next level, just organic conversations happen. So, so from starting 4 years ago and just wanting to sell houses, that's turned into, as of yesterday, 11 different conversations, successful conversations with agents who wanted to partner up with us and wanted to, get a piece of what was making me so successful. And from those 11 agents, that has turned into a 250, I think, as of yesterday, a 250 person group, which is like I still don't believe it, because I've like I said, I've talked to 10 agents, 11 agents now that have come over to EXP, and that's turned into 250 agents that I'm earning revenue share and passive income off of. So it's been mind blowing. Like, it's just not something that I expected. It's not something I planned for, and it's not even something that I've put any attention towards really. It's just kind of happened organically, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I know, like you said, Tarek being an old friend and mentor of yours, he was like one of the top Remax agents in the country, right?
Yeah.
So he was already better than I do. Like, what was his business? How many units was he doing, or what kind of team that did he have? And if why did he even take a look at EXP, being he was already super successful? And why would he listen to, he's up here, and as far as being in the business for what, a decade or more, and how did all that transpire?
Well, it was he was a long process of like constantly. I mean, he started when we came to EXP, he started by picking apart the model and saying why it wouldn't work. And then it started turning into, well, if we were gonna do this, this is how it would work, and this is how it would work. But he's looking, I mean, still, he was looking at it from the same level as my father was looking at it, being basically, I think they had their own Remax, so they had their own Remax office, and then they had another stub office. And so he was looking at from like a more of like a, profitability and like broker owner type of standpoint, which is very different, which also I think EXP makes 10 times more sense for people in those positions, especially somebody who is owning their own independent. Like for us, it was like a no brainer. But he knows what it costs, man. He knows, like, one of the comments he made at one point was like, you're basically a glorified landlord at these other big brokerages. I know my dad looked at Keller Williams before he went independent, and the numbers didn't make sense unless he had 75 agents, producing agents at the brokerage. Like, we make money, net profit, if we bring one agent who sells. You know what I mean? Like, how do you compete with that? So their production, I think they were doing 300-400 units a year. There still are. They're definitely number one or two in Ottawa for production. And they have a monstrous team with crazy ISAs. And I mean, the one cool stat they had was like the average agent on their team is doing like 25 units a year, which I think is really cool. It means they're all like high producing agents, right? I mean, so yeah, but I think he just looked at it, and it was just like, there's only so many objections you can throw until you realize like it just makes more sense, and it just comes down to math, right? When you really do the math on this company and the opportunities that are there, it's pretty crazy. I think the other thing was watching my dad, blow up to the point that he's been at, realizing that he, because we had these conversations with these Remax guys early on when we made the change, and they didn't really want to look at it. And a year later, it was like, hey man, now we had this, because we took a gamble. We were still very early, especially in Canada. We're the first independent brokerage to switch over in Canada. So we still took a gamble. And after a year, it was like, hey man, look at what this company is doing for us. Now we have stats to back it up. Look at our agents doing way more business. Every single one of our agents is doing more business. Look at the agents that we've been able to attract. That was a big thing from an independent brokerage standpoint. The agents that we have now in our group would have never worked for Nadeau Realty. There's no way we could have made it work. It just wouldn't financially make sense for either party, because the team model and that type of brokerage, I mean, with the splits and everything, only makes sense to a certain level of production. I'd say probably about 30 units a year. Once you're above that, we were losing people and we'd have high turnover all the time. So from an agent attraction standpoint, which is what everybody gets in this business too, or if you're, especially if you're at the broker or manager level, it took it to the next level, and they have taken it to the next level because they're blowing up Quebec right now. Tarek's a French guy, so he's taking that Montreal and all across Quebec right now by storm. So it's gonna be crazy.
So how cool is that? Is you get plugged in, triple your business, start having a little bit more time. Once you started using leverage, be able to get married, and I know you went on a 30-day vacation or honeymoon, right? Was it New Zealand?
New Zealand and Australia, yeah, which was a big bucket list item for me, yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to take 30 days off if you don't have a real business, but now with using the leverage in the last few years, you've been able to do that. But you've been able to attract top agents from other companies that have 10, 15 plus years more experience than yourself, but they teamed up with you because of the model. And now, because they know people, top producing people know other top producing people. And now you have an organization of over 250 and many in other provinces. And you're just still continuing to work, on your business and selling more homes, but you're getting paid for other people's efforts. And that sounds like a real business to me.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's been surreal. It's been surreal. The fact that, when I first came in here, it was the alignment from the people who brought me into the business. But the craziest thing in the world is what you just said, is like, now it's the people that I've been able to bring in the business that I never would have been able to attract at an independent brokerage. Like Matthew Arsenault from Gatineau showed up at our office a couple of months ago in his helicopter. He literally landed his helicopter in a field behind us, and he's in my organization. So how would I attract someone like this? Got his own TV show. Like, this guy's the real deal in Quebec. How would I have ever attracted someone like that, of that caliber, with an independent brokerage? There's no way I could have done it before. There's no way. So it's the model's too sticky, as Glenn Stanford says, right?
That's right. That's real exciting. So I know you said originally you start growing your revenue share from other people basically selling homes, and the way it works, it first started out as kind of paying your gas, right? And you weren't really looking at it. The first 3 years, you were just looking at growing your sales business. How has that changed?
So that's the other fun story about rev share is, like I said, I didn't really care about it. It wasn't something that it even excited me at all. But I thought, hey, you know what? Along the way, maybe I'll bring in an agent here or there, and I'll make some rev share, and maybe I'll pay a cell phone bill. Cell phone bill got paid pretty quick. Then it kept growing, and then I'm like, hey, you know what? First of all, the point of I love the comment of buyers are liars. I used to say I would never buy a truck again because I had a Hemi Dodge 1500 and I was putting stupid amounts of money of gas in it. And I was like, we drive like how many kilometers a year? I'm like, there's no way I'm buying a truck again. Bought a house in the country, really needed a truck, decided to buy one. And then my revenue share started paying for my gas. So the other thing I said I would never do is I'll never lift a truck again. I'll never get big tires. But that's like something that's like I love lifted trucks. And I know that when you were here, I drove you around in my truck, which wasn't lifted yet. And you're like, yeah, I got a 6-inch lift on 35s or whatever you got. And I'm like, man, I got to get there, but I just can't justify it with the gas. So then it got to the point where I was like, okay, well, if RevShare pays for my gas for the year, what do I care how much gas I'm spending? Let me lift it. And so I hit that milestone. And now I haven't paid my mortgage in 6 months. So EXP is paying my mortgage, my gas, and pretty much all my bills, to the point where now I'm looking at, okay, now the money that I'm saving from that, I'm going to turn around and go and buy investment properties or invest into stocks or wherever I want to spend my money. I'm literally going to use passive income to go purchase more passive income producing real estate, which has always been the goal. I've always said I will never create the amount of wealth I want in this business by selling real estate. I'll get there by owning it. And now I'm buying with not only hard earned income, I'm buying with passive income that I didn't really work for. All I did was have conversations. It's a return on effort, not a return on investment. All I did was have good conversations with agents. Now I'm getting passive income from that, which is then going to buy me real estate. That blows my mind. That is like, now it's gone from, okay, I tripled my business to now I'm going to create a real estate portfolio from what EXP has been able to give me. Like, the life-changing sentence for me has changed every single year we've been here, and I can't even wait to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
Where do you see yourself, in 5 years from now? Where do you think you're going to be?
I mean, I think that's a good question. I mean, I have a lot of goals, and I think they're very bold. One of them is that I'm going to do 100 units a year, and the reason I have that as a goal is because I just don't even see it being attainable. So, 100 units a year is definitely the one production wise. Because listen, I'm 28 years old. I still got a long ways to go here, and I'm happy to keep selling, and I can stay on the transaction treadmill a little bit longer. So I'm gonna ride that one out. But
you'll get there, man. You'll get to 100 units. I remember when my first goal was, 50, and we hit it, and then 75 and 80, and you'll absolutely get it. You'll get there for sure.
Yeah. So that, I mean, and in the group at 250 agents is already doing that clearly, well beyond that. But I'm talking about myself production wise, because I think that's a crazy goal. And then now, man, honestly, like I've never, like I said, I've never taken this agent attraction thing seriously. But with 250 agents and 11 like personal sponsors, I feel like I owe it to these people to take it to the next level and continue to grow that, because I might get a bit emotional here, but like, it doesn't matter how hard you work for a sale. You see at the end of the day, you see that somebody is so happy to buy their first home. You see that somebody is so happy that you sold their house for top dollar. You shake hands and you move on. But what has been way, 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 way more rewarding is watching agents that were brand new agents come to this business and have no idea what to do, where to spend their time, where to put their efforts. And I can show them, listen, I can show you how to get to where I'm at. And I know that because I've been there, and I have been like in a bad place where I was like so frustrated and beating my head against the wall. I didn't know where to do or what to do. And now I get to go help them change their lives forever, triple their business, double their business, whatever it might be. That has more value to me than any monetary value that I could ever have in my life. And that's what you did for me, bro. And I'll thank you for it every day. Every time I see you, I'm shaking your hand and saying you changed my life. That's what I want. When you walk through a room and I see people shake your hand and say, thank you for sharing this opportunity with you, Andre, that's the feeling that I want next. So the next 5 years, I want to feel like you do, and my dad does, when they walk through a room and 500 or 600 people know their name and 500 or 600 people say, that guy changed my life. That's my goal for the next 5 years.
Well, that's awesome. You kind of gave me goosebumps there sharing that with me. So I
was just trying
that.
I was just trying not to cry, bro. It's been a ride, man. It's been a ride. This company is like, it's changing lives, man. It is. It really is.
What are some of the things that really surprised you guys coming over to, first of all, you had your own independent company, and a lot of people won't even take a look at something else because, hey, this is their baby. They built this thing. Why would I even think about, doing anything different or partnering up with somebody else? Why? Because normally the average agent, when they get to like your dad's level and they have their own independent company, that's kind of top of the mountain. That's what we all inspire to do, right? So first of all, if you wanted to share some information to any broker owners out there. Why should they take a look at this when they probably believe the highest level they can be, because they get 100%, right? They get it's their own independent company. What were the top, 2 or 3 things why you and your dad looked at it, and what you'd like to share with any broker owners, out there?
I think, well, I'll tell a story. I think, so when I was in Ottawa and I started with this fastest growing Remax in the world, this office had disco balls in the office. They had ping pong tables. They had a Netflix room. They had a gym. Like, it felt like, and there was guys going up and down. Like, this is when AirPods like just came out. They had AirPods. They're going down the hallway. They're high-fiving. Like, it felt like Wolf of Wall Street to a certain extent. There was this high level of energy that motivated me to be like, let's take on the world. And I got home and I was like, I'm like, Dad, we got to, like, I finally got licensed. I came back to Kingston. And I was like, we're taking this thing. Like, we're starting to do realty in Toronto to Ottawa. I'm going to, like, whatever it takes, I want to take it on and let's grow this thing. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not as scalable of a business. I think any business, no matter what industry you're in, if I've learned anything in my years in real estate, if without scalability, like Sherrick said, without leverage, you don't have a business. Without scalability, you don't have a business. So your business is only as big as you can build it, So as a broker owner, your business is only going to ever get to the point where you can attract agents, which is a lot harder to do in different marketplaces unless you have a sticky model, unless you have a model that is so good that no one else can compete with, that when you go to break into a new market, because if we show up Nadeau Realty in Toronto, who's going to work for us? We don't know anyone there. We don't have a network there. Like, we have our systems that we've built, but nobody knows our systems. So to start all over again and create a brokerage is difficult. Now we're like, with this EXP model, it's so good that we're in Quebec, we're in like India, Florida, Las Vegas, like all over the place, because all we've done is introduce this model to someone and it's so good that they jump on board. So that when we came to EXP, that was my kind of aha moment for my dad and for like our longevity in the future. I finally went, because I kept saying to him, you're not thinking big enough. You're not thinking big enough. How do we make this thing? How do we make this Nadeau Realty bigger than it is now? Because I don't want to just sell 50 homes a year and make money and exchange time for money. We need to grow and create a serious business. And when we saw the EXP opportunity and what it offered, I was like, this is a golden ticket, baby. This is it. This is what we've been looking for, at least what I've been telling him he looked for. Because I think you're right. I think he had that mentality of like, I'm on the mountaintop. I'm keeping 100%. We got a new office, did 350 transactions last year. We're rocking and rolling. Like, I don't think he thought it got better than that. And I think in his mind, it was like, that's where you limit out. That's it. And so that would be my question is, if you as a broker owner or an independent brokerage see your brokerage doing that kind of growth, doing exponential growth, getting to 250 agents without ever attracting and just selling properties like I've been able to do in the last 4 years, then maybe I'm not talking to the right person. But if you can't see getting to that point or 650 agents like my dad's gotten to, then maybe you should consider the model.
Now that's good advice, because I remember your dad was working like 80 hours a week when I first called him.
He sold 100 units personally in that year. Transaction treadmill. It's the only way to be profitable. You're keeping 100%, but you're moving the wheel. Like, that's the only way you make money.
I remember your mom telling me in so many words that she hadn't. She thanked me one time. She got her husband back and her family back because he was working so much, and now he's, I think, 35 hours a week compared to his 80. And 5x the net income, I think, in the last 12 months.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, and by the way, those 30 or 35 hours a week, if he's working, he's changing lives. That's all he's doing. He's having conversations with agents and he's changing lives. He's helping them either save more money, make more money, sell more properties, or make more passive income. I would way rather spend my time doing that than selling properties and showing houses and opening doors. I still want to do that. I'm still young and I got lots of time left. But for him, he never had an exit strategy. His exit strategy was right here. That
I was
was
looking
it.
at him.
Yeah. And that's just not scalable. That's as scalable as me. So,
Right.
you know, now it's gotten to the point where he's giving me a hard time because he wants to go golfing instead of the other way around. Right. So it's a very good place he's been able to get to. So, and yeah, it's surreal too. Like we just were at this event in Orlando, and I'm watching my dad on stage talk about how he's been able to create such a big team and how his life has changed, all thanks to EXP. And he wouldn't have been able to do that before. So
And he gets to play a little bit more golf than he did, right?
yeah, he's beating me now. I'm upset about it. I just played on Father's Day. He whooped my ass. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story, Pat. Before we sign off, is there anything else that you want to share that we haven't talked about yet that you think could be beneficial to like a solo agent like yourself that's out there in the trenches and trying to get their business to the next level? What are some of the things that you were able to do real estate wise that really helped you?
I don't know. I just think that listen, if you're happy where you are and you're doing the amount of production that you want to be doing, and you're happy paying the splits that you're paying, and you're happy where you're at, then this message is not for you. But if you're like me and you got in this business to make more money every single year, keep more money, and create passive income and a better life for yourself, then maybe you need to look at EXP. Because to me, I got in this business for one reason. That's to make money. I want to make more money every single year, and I want to, but the goal is not to make money just to make money. The goal is I want to create a better lifestyle for my family. I want to do the things that my father was able to do through hard work for me growing up, and I want to repay that to my kids someday. That's the deeper meaning for me. And I owe it to my future kids and my wife to look at every possibility to put more money in our pocket, in our family's pocket, in charity's pocket, wherever I can do that. And EXP right now, for me, that's the best place. And if there's a better model, I'm not saying that I'm not going to look at a better model. And if somebody creates something better, then that's great. But I think everybody owes it to themselves to at least look at the model and understand what this company has to offer. There is a reason we're all yelling from the rooftops that this company has changed our lives. We're not saying it for no reason. And if there was no reason, we wouldn't still be here. We'd go back and start doing what we were doing before. So I think everybody just owes it to themselves to understand the model. And if you look at the model's not for everyone, but I think you owe it to yourself to look at the model, understand it thoroughly, and get your information from the right sources. Because I do find a lot of people are going to the Ford dealership to get information on the Tesla. Come to the Tesla dealership and let's talk about what this company has to offer, and then make an informed decision. If you want to stay where you are, stay where you are. But I think everybody owes it to themselves, and more importantly, their family, to look at the model and understand what it could offer them and how it could change their life.
One thing I forgot to ask you was even though you worked at your dad's company, you didn't have any ownership at that time, right? Hoping
Nope.
that you were his exit strategy and sell you the business, maybe in the future. How has the stock ownership helped you from day one till now?
Well, as agents, we are not very good at spending or saving money. Sorry, we're good at spending money. We're not really good at saving it. So the stock thing has. So I take 5%. There's a rev share or a stock option that you can do where you take 5% of your income every single commission check, and you buy the stock at a 10% discount. So I've done just that. And then I've gotten a few stock awards along the way for doing things like selling my first property every year, bringing on new agents, so on. Haven't looked at it, just the same as I haven't looked at the rev share. Didn't even look at it. There was a point last year where the stocks went through the ceiling. And my dad calls me up and he's like, "You see your stocks yet?" I was like, "I don't have any. Like, I don't think it's anything substantial." He's like, "Go look at them." So I go check the stocks, and I won't say the exact number, but it was 6 figures that I didn't know I had. There's 6 figures of money that I didn't know that I had. And how many homes would you have to sell to create that amount of income? It's crazy. And that was just from doing what I was already doing. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. You really didn't even know that was available, because you're just like 99% of the other agents out there. You're just busting your chops and working, a lot of hours to get your business going, and you got your nose down selling homes, and you didn't even know that EXP was rewarding you for your hard work in stock ownership, and had six figures before you even knew it. That's pretty exciting. How would anyone feel? Feels kind of like, I guess, like Christmas when you get up one morning and learn you have six figures worth of stock for just doing what you were doing at any other company, right?
100%. And back to like what I was saying, like what I want out of this business is I want to create financial. I mean, we're on the Financial Freedom podcast. I want to create financial freedom for me and my family. And there's only one way to do that. And it's not through active income, it's through passive income. So, and the other thing, like, all of the millionaires, billionaires of the world will tell you is you need as many passive income streams as possible. I think the gold number is like 7, right? So through selling real estate, I'm creating active income. And now with the rev share and the stocks, I've just created 2 more forms of passive income on top of the income properties that I'm going to continue to buy. So I'm just I'm 2 steps closer really to the amount of passive income streams that I need in order to create the amount of money and the financial freedom that I want for my family.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations for all your time and effort and your hard work. I'm real proud of you, man. You're about my son's age, and they've done real well and I feel like a proud daddy that I have someone like yourself and your father as part of our business, and I'm real excited to see the lives that you're going to change moving forward as we continue to grow EXP not only in Canada but around the country.
100%, man.
So thanks for jumping on the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I always ask everyone at the last question is, if you are a movie watcher or a book reader, what's the best all-time movie or book that you'd like to read?
I think, my favorite one is The Compound Effect. I had a saying before I read The Compound Effect, and that's consistency compounds. I don't know if I made that up or if I heard it somewhere or what. But I think that consistent efforts, the gym is the easiest example, consistent efforts at the gym will compound and get easier. And that's what the Compound Effect book is about. I can't think of a movie off the top of my head, but the Compound Effect is definitely one of the top books. And then Rich Dad Poor Dad, as everybody pretty much says, that was one that changed my life too. So,
yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time again, Pat. Happy 4th year EXP anniversary. Can't wait to do it again in the 5th year. We'll see how you continue to grow. And God bless you. Have a great week. We'll see you at the next live event, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
Have a good day.
You too, man.
Listen to what our business partners are saying about our FFF group.
What I love most about our group, the alignment, the fact that I am aligned with some of the top producers in the world and can pick their brain any second of the day has been absolutely incredible for my business and has taken it to the next level. And I have to account it to alignment.
My favorite thing about the FFF group is just being surrounded by people with the same mentality as us that are striving for something better and building a better long-term plan for themselves.
My favorite part is the support. I can't tell you how many top producers have just kind of dropped what they're doing and supported us in a big way when we've had any kind of curveballs or compliance issues or any kind of new experience. Everyone within our group is just willing to give, and that's probably the best part about our Financial Freedom group.
I believe if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing 10 to 15, 20 times more than me and you put together, we all bring each other up and bring our businesses to the next level and our lives. To learn more about how to partner with us, go to partnerwithandre.com or click the link below, and let's have a conversation.